Yo. What's happening, G? What's
What's
going
good?
on, y'all?
What's going on, my guy? You feeling?
Man, I'm feeling amazing. It's a good day above ground. How you feeling?
Uh, Good. I could be a little better, but we're gonna thug it out. We ain't missing 2 weeks in a row. We don't do that around here.
No, it's very unprofessional. Very unprofessional. We missed 2 weeks in a row. We don't want to. We don't want to be like Vince, man. Next thing you look up and we hear 1 week. Next thing you know, we talking about we resigned.
Never that.
Yeah. So what's going on with you, man? What's new in the world?
Man, just same old, same old. We almost done moving to this house. The internet is still not up to par yet, but we're gonna get that fixed by next week. Next week show. I'll guarantee it. Or else Xfinity owes me a lot of money.
As
So
long as they just make sure they give you the money. Tell them don't put it towards your bill. Just tell them give you the money.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna keep me on hold for like 5 or 10 minutes, maybe 20. But like, is he gone yet? Nope. He's staying for this X amount of phone bill, which I'm not gonna disclose on the internet. But yeah, it's out
Yeah. Don't disclose your phone to the internet. All right, y'all. So we back with another episode of Wrestling Wednesdays. But listen, we've been telling y'all about this for a minute, right? The
there. Yep.
documentary has come out, and boy, was the first episode explosive. No, I ain't gonna say explosive. It was very informative. Quite a few things that we already knew, especially
Mhm.
because of how Vince was behaving. Like he was saying, he has a ton of stories, but he wasn't really too comfortable with telling them. But they had him, so he told quite a few stories and went over a little bit of history with Vince as far as his origins and all this, that, and the other. What was your takeaways? What did you get? Did you learn anything new about the origins of Vince?
Um, One thing I'll put it like this: I am a fan of Vince McMahon, the businessman, the business guy. I'm a fan of him because when it came to the territories, and you can speak more to this. When it came to the territories, it was a verbal agreement. This is my side of the country. You stay on your side. Y'all stay over there. We can get along just fine. And as soon as uh, um, I forgot. I almost called this man Kennedy. As soon as Vince McMahon Senior gave him the keys to the car, he said, "All right, cool. Yeah, I'm going to St. Louis. I'm going to Los Angeles. I'll even go to Hoboken's." I was like, "This dude is wild," but I get it. I 100% get it. I'm a fan of that. I might say like it's nothing personal. It's just business. At the end of the day. Now, just don't BS and complain about it later, which we'll get into episode 3. But if we get the chance, if not, there's always tomorrow. But with Vince McMahon, shoot, I almost hurt myself. When it comes to Vince McMahon, territories, and what else? Just his relationship with his father. It is what I expected. Now, I didn't care too much to get into Vince's personal life, but when you hear the first time they met, he was like, "Hey, you get a little too close, youngster. All right, bud, you can stay around. You my son. All right, I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna take care of you by teaching you how this business works. You stand by my side, and you earn your keeps like everybody else. So I have zero problem with that. Well, obviously, the abandoning of the child is a wild situation back then, even now. But the fact of I'm not about to give you special privileges because I'm rich and you just coming from a trailer park. No, you're gonna have to fight and grind and learn this business like everybody else. So get to work. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, the relationship between him and his dad, which is the very first thing that they touched on, um, surprising to me a little bit because when I used to hear Vince always talk about his dad, he used to always Ray Triggs, what's up, my G? My bad, I ain't even say hello to the people. Hey, Armanize, what's going on, sis? There go
Nice.
my
How you
baby.
doing?
There go my baby. She says game over. Yeah, I got my man's Ray Triggs in the building.
Ray
Appreciate you
Triggs is
stopping by,
good.
Ray Triggs. So when I always heard Vince talk about his dad, Vince Sr., he always talk about him in a good way, professionally. I've
Mm-hmm.
never heard him speak in a personal way about his dad, other than Did you hear that story? What was his name? He was the Jerry the King Lawler. He did a painting. You remember that story?
A painting?
He did a painting of Vince, his grandfather, and Vince's dad. And
Oh,
he Jerry the King Lawler gave Vince this painting, and Vince, he got emotional about it, stuff like that. And it was like this is the very first time they've ever seen Vince catch emotions outside of it just being in front of a camera or for the business. So
mm,
even on the episode, even the documentary when they was talking about Andre the Giant, Vince spoke very highly of his father. To learn that it was a little bit of a drift between the two of them because let's just call it for what it is. His dad focused on his career rather than he was being a parent. That
correct.
was amazing to hear him talk about that. And as far as the territories go, those territories reach back a far way. I mean, you just look at some of these territories. You got the Minneapolis Boxing and Wrestling Club. That's back in 1948. You got the NWA of Iowa, 1948, 1959. The Harry Light Wrestling Office, Midwest Wrestling Association. I know about them. St. Louis Wrestling Club, Central States Wrestling, NWA Montana, Hollywood, American Wrestling. So yeah, it was a lot. And this list, it goes on for quite a while. Like this,
Right.
I don't think a lot of people really understand how far this stretched. Even in Hawaii, they had a wrestling association.
Oh
Mid
yeah.
America,
And guess who was there?
who
The Anai family. Like
really?
always. Oh yes, that's why they inducted the grandmother into the Hall of Fame this year because of what
Okay.
she did in Hollywood. Because of what she did in Hawaii, from building there to getting people to come wrestle in the stadium. One of the main events, I believe, was Ric Flair in that stadium. So, oh yes, the Rocks family is deep.
Yeah, I see. Also, shout out to Big Time Wrestling out here in Detroit, Michigan. But the promoter was the Sheik. The Sheik, a lot, man. This is why I say wrestling has very deep roots in Detroit. Iron Sheik was the man that was the promoter for Big Time Wrestling. Of course, Francis Fletcher, NWA Big Time World Class Championship Wrestling. It goes all Japan Pro Wrestling. It goes a long way back. My man's Antonio Inoki. I love that man. All right,
Yeah.
so when Vince took over, hey Hassan, what's going on? When Vince took over when he took over the business, one thing that he promised his dad was is that he would never go into the other territories. At least that's the deal that his dad gave him. As long
Mm,
as you leave the territories alone, you can take the business. Well, Vince Jr. Is a businessman, and if he see an opportunity, if you know anything about Vince, he's going to take it. And he saw an opportunity with the territories, and he stepped off into it. And he took it strong by force. But yeah, that opening little thing, the dialogue about his dad was amazing. What else happened in that in the when he was giving his little opening?
obviously, they threatened to kill him, saying you're gonna find his body at the bottom of the river. Vince like, ain't nobody scared of y'all. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing. Now I remember those death threats. They said Vince was supposed to been dead. Vince said, I ain't scared of nothing. This is just business. And I'm aware of some of the gangsters he had around him too. So go ahead if you want to. Also in episode, hold on, what you got to say?
I was saying that yeah, Vince never been afraid of nothing. He always confronted everything up front. He didn't
Mm-hmm.
hold nothing back. All those death threats he used to get and stuff like that, he'll shake that shit off and say, "Man, to hell with that. Listen, we here to do business. And if you ain't about doing business, you're gonna get steamrolled. It's just that simple."
Right. Now, I gotta talk about this. The coolest wrestler probably back in the day had to be the American Dream, Dusty Rose. That promo that he cut, I was like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what? You know he was the coolest motherfucker out there back
Mm-hmm.
in the day. Out and I just me personally, God rest his soul. I remember obviously my dad talked about the American Dream because that's when there's actually a wrestling promotion down in Houston back in the day. And matter of fact, they showed it on Netflix. They didn't say the name, but my dad would talk about the Eddie Guerreros, American Dream, Dusty Rose, those who came around the circus, and chill back there. But one of my highlights was seeing Dusty Rose doing his thing. But he said, "Hey man, I'm just here to have fun. I'm here to just do my thing. As far as carry the company, get that to somebody else." And I believe
Mm-hmm.
the person they found was Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
They found Hulk Hogan. They came on the landmine. How was Hulk? How tall was Hulk? 6'4", 6'5", 302 pounds.
Yeah.
Uh, Blonde hair, blue eyes,
Well, they
middle aged
told him
American.
they told him as 320 because he was just a hulking monster of a human.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, they billed him as the biggest thing popping. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now that was back in Southwest Sports. That's in Houston, Texas,
Southwest Park.
1949,
Yeah.
1966. Yeah, so when Hulk came onto the scene, of course, that was Vince's guy. Well, he was going to end up being Vince's guy. And he
Mm-hmm.
used Hulk. He used Hulk Hogan or also known as Terry Bollea, I believe his name is. He used Hulk in a way to, like, he would send him to other territories to gain up stardom in those territories, which is pretty much his foot in the door of taking over those territories. It was all just business, regardless of how they looked at it. They got something out the deal. They just didn't get what Vince was looking for. Vince was looking to take over. They were just looking to make money. That's the big
Right.
difference between them. Yeah,
And he
so
said, "It is what it is. It's America. What you want
yeah,
me to do?"
pretty much. And then after, I believe after they talked about his dad, where did they go into next? Because I'm trying to recap everything that I saw today.
Uh,
At, let me see.
See,
After
I
they
wish I
talked,
had my computer, but that's at the old place while outside the internet.
yeah, yeah. don't say where you see. So
Oh, that's
you
at the old place. I ain't say
you're
where.
gonna give X. You trying to catch heat from Xfinity? You better be careful.
Yeah. As a paying customer, I am disappointed. I gotta go. You mean to tell me I gotta go a couple of a mile that way just to get on the internet? Man, please.
Yeah. And they brought up quite a few stars. I seen Bret Hart was up there. Hulk Hogan, of course, was up
Oh
there.
yeah, we're gonna talk about that one.
Yeah, Bret Hart got a bitter spot for Vince. I mean, he should though, because Bret Hart, I would say, was the face of at the time it was called WWF. Bret Hart was the face of WWF for quite some time. Hell, the whole Hart family had something to do with the upcoming at
Oh yeah, they was
WWF.
already established.
Yeah,
Hartman was
yeah.
already established,
Hmm.
and that was a great investment. And just let you guys know, if we kind of mix in episode 1, 2, and 3, please forgive me. We will go over 4, 5, and 6 tomorrow. Yes, we are going to do a part 2 tomorrow. This is so good that we're not doing 1 week. We're going to do a special. We're coming back tomorrow, same time, because I want to talk about everything, including I'm aware of the Chris Benoit situation. I can't wait. Don't ruin nothing for me. Granted, I'm not looking at the chat right now, but I can't wait to talk about that. And but just to let you know, we're gonna go back and forth between each shows because this was great work, great body of work that I watched. I'm not gonna say it's better than The Last Dance, but it's nice. It's nice. Now I wanted to focus on time management or schedule management back in the day. 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, according to them. And I'm looking like that. And on top of that, they got to find a place to travel. They got to travel from one city or state to another. Come on now. This is where I have to give Ted Turner his credit for doing what he did because it was a smart business play on his part. Y'all could just instead of wrestling 365 days a year, y'all can do like 30 a year. How that look? And I'm gonna pay you more than Vince. Sign me up. What we talking about?
Talking
Because
about
it's business.
more money and less pain. I take
Yeah,
it. Why
one
not?
100%. Ted Turner did a Vince McMahon business move, and I'm not mad at him. I'm a little bit disappointed that Vince was bitching and complaining about it, but it's like that's his business. You did that in the 80s. We in the 90s right now. Don't get mad that this man been beating you for how many weeks? 83 weeks.
Yep, 83 weeks.
Yeah, 83 weeks. You got to
Mhm.
credit that to Ted Turner, but actually you got to credit that to Eric Bischoff.
Well, the thing is, even with what Ted Turner did, Vince has always been a competitive guy. That's just the
Of
way he
course.
was built. That's just the way he was raised. So Ted Turner making that move, I don't want to attach this label to Vince of jealousy, but probably he could have thought of it first. But Ted Turner said, "No, to hell with that. I'm gonna do this first, right?" And what he offered those wrestlers was something that a lot of wrestlers complain about, which was time with your family. Because you hear a lot of wrestlers complain about, oh man, I'm on the road 275 days a year. I'm traveling between city and city. You know, we wrestle one match and then we gone. Right at the end of that match, we already out the city. We on the plane. But now Ted Turner's like, to hell with that. Go back home to your family. Spend time with your family because family is number one. That's the most important.
Right.
Plus more money. Oh hell yeah! Why not?
Yeah.
I get to be around my family and I get more money. I'm going through less pain. I get more time to build up storylines for upcoming matches and stuff like that. Yeah, why not?
Oh, of course.
Vince was just like, the hell you mean you offered more money? That's a bullshit.
Yeah, basically, like I said, you gotta put your pussy in your pants, put your pussy in your pockets, because he did a well played business play just like you did in the '80s. So I have zero problem with what Ted Turner did, and all is fair in business. All is fair in business.
1000%, 1000%. But you know what though? Before we go to the next part, I want to touch on what you opened up with. Vince the businessman and Vince the personal man. Who he is as a person is two completely different people. I
Correct.
think in this documentary we got to see a little bit more of the personal side of Vince because we rarely get to see that. I think the last interview I really sat down and watched on Addendum was the interview that he did with Stone Cold Steve Austin when they was getting ready to cut the interview, and he was like, "Well, we only got so much time left." And Vince was like, "Well, I own the company, so we can
Yeah,
take as much time as you want."
he did it, and Triple H did it the next week. Yep,
Yeah,
remember that.
so you don't get to see too much of Vince, but this was a Vince on a different level because it's not for just a show. It's not for just building up to the next pay per view or building up to the next live show. No, this is Vince his I want to say vulnerable, or most vulnerable. I'll say a little bit vulnerable. Yeah, that's why he was kind of uncomfortable with it too.
It was definitely vulnerable, and as we found out in the beginning of episode one, while filming, that's when the allegations dropped, and they had to hold. So prior to that, I would say Vince is very vulnerable, whether he likes to show it or not. He tried to hold tight, but when he's behind the scenes, cameras off, oh yeah, he'll let the tears fly. And also the interview I remember watching of Vince was King of the Ring. And it was ESPN E60. This was when WrestleMania 25 was in Houston, and they did a sit down interview with Vince. I remember that. I remember that one as well. And I wanted to make sure that some of those things that he said in the interview lined up. I remember the abuse thing he lined up, and it was his stepbrother that abused him, upbringing. And he says a word of calling it wrestling. Like, don't call it wrestling, call it theatrical, something, something, something. He said it in that Stone Cold interview as well. So I need to go look for it. And then consistency, Hulk Hogan talked about the transition, how you had the beer drinkers, and they was like, man, we want to see some real violence. But you also saw how the company started to grow as far as business goes, especially after WrestleMania 1.
Yeah. Yeah, this as we go through the evolution of the stages of WWF slash WWE, you seen even in the eras that we talked about on our last show, you can see the progression of how it went from just sports entertainment to actually a storyline to actually the I'm just thinking of a few, the Attitude Era, then you got the PG era, then you got all these different eras. The thing was that the show is going to eventually evolutionize and it's going to change with the time.
Correct.
How those wrestlers came about, how they performed during those times is what kept the business. But you had some who stepped out of line and they had to get hardball. It's just that simple.
That is real. That is real.
Yeah.
Now I want to talk about the fact of these news reporters. That was very interesting. Um, you had I gotta find this name, but I'm gonna find this U.S. Today or New York Post Today. He was talking about. He was just saying, "I'm here to see you're about as if Hulk Hogan is as popular as they say he is." But it's like you asking a lot of behind the scene question, like who you is? You the feds? You got a wire on, and we'll get into that in a moment too. So, and this and like I said, we talk about Roman's right hand man or Solo's right hand man. Hulk Hogan was Vince McMahon's right hand man.
Damn
He,
sure.
he beeline, like I said, beeline to Vince, and this was leading up to WrestleMania. Beeline to Vince and said, "Hey man, he keep asking questions." And to
Mm-hmm.
find out, they're trying to see if wrestling is fake or not.
Fake. Yeah.
And it's like you gotta protect the business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta protect the business. And it's like this is house rules. And now it can't later. It's just at that time that wasn't ready for the sequel to come out. You gotta wait for later.
Yeah.
But Vince McMahon talking about, boy, I wish somebody could do something to him, and walked out.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
was like,
Yeah.
what's
They
his name?
pretty much
Schultz?
ran. Yeah,
Huh?
yeah. They you talking about Schultz, the blind guy, right?
What's
Talking
his
about the
name?
one that there was he was in the hallway and he was asking was wrestling fake and he smacked the living
Yes,
hell out of him. Yeah.
yes.
A
Here's an
lot of
extra
reporters
$500,000 a year. What you mean?
exactly.
You give me a solid. Let them know what time it is. He's like, hey, cut.
Yeah,
Oh, hold on,
but
cut.
a lot of these reporters end up getting that treatment. Don't forget when Vader was over and which country was that? When Vader and Taker was over there and he was asking Vader was wrestling fake and Vader got up and like grabbed him up by his collar and he went in on him. That interviewer, I mean, listen, Vince Terry Hulk Hogan knew that these people was coming for the business because, of course, yes, it was scripted storytelling, but these guys
Predetermined.
actually predetermined, yes, predetermined storytelling. But these guys was putting their body on the line, and at the end of the day, for someone to come in and try to defunct what the business is just like, bruh, just let the show be. But just like Vince said, man, I wish something happened to that motherfucker. He pretty much ran like a mafia. If they're trying to hurt the business, we got to protect the business, even if that
Oh,
means one of you motherfuckers going to jail. You be
now
all right.
this surprised me. Ladies and gentlemen, I haven't watched in a while because I've been busy. I'm a Law and Order SVU fan. I tell you, I binge watched all. When I moved out, I binge watched all 16 seasons. So I was there for the Richard Belzer, which is known as Munch. I knew he was a comedian later. I didn't know he was a talk show host. When him and Mr. T went to the to promote WrestleMania, he's like, "Is wrestling real?" He's like, "All right, I'm gonna put you in a submission move." He put him in the front chin lock. I was like, "No, you cannot do that." Maybe I was
Why not? Put that motherfucker in the chin. Like, listen, when people get to saying something's fake, it's just like, all right, cool. Here, let me hold your hand for a second. Matter of fact, let me get a rear naked choker on you or some shit like that. Like people was always trying to, like I said, they was always trying to defunk the business. It's just like, bro, if you think it's fake, come get in the ring.
yeah, because you do that, you chin like me. I'm going low, super low. I'm kicking because if y'all just know, if y'all know. And the way he fell and hit his head, just foot. He's like, uh-oh. And Hulk like, man, get up, pussy. Smack a couple times. And then saw his head gushing from the back. I was like, oh,
Yep.
not much. God rest his soul.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, man, they got it. It's like, oh, y'all. And also, before WrestleMania, they went to Australia. I forgot. I think it was Elimination Chamber. Yes, it was Elimination Chamber. Austin Theory gets my respect. Austin Theory gets my respect because he went to some news outlet or journalist newspaper outlet to do an interview. The journalist did the same thing too. Say it's wrestling fake and that type of stuff. Austin Theory was ready to throw fucking hands.
As he should. Yeah.
Yeah,
As he
he's like,
motherfucking should.
security had to jump in. And he's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Watch out. He think I'm soft. Come step right here. We can test that theory.
Mm-hmm.
So
You
yeah,
know who else is? You know who else was legendarily known for fighting in public when people were always challenging wrestling was fake? Haku. Haku would beat the shit out of anybody. Hey, listen. If you ever ask any of the old school wrestlers or all of the wrestling historians, they'll tell you Haku was a ticking time bomb waiting to happen. All it took was just the wrong person to say the wrong thing, and it was over. That Tonka, what is it called? The Tonka Death Grip. That thing was
Uh-huh.
real. That thing actually hurt. So a lot of people thought it was fake. Okay, all right. Let me put you in this motherfucker, and you're gonna find out what it's really about. So I think later in that episode, we actually got into the creation of the character Mr. McMahon, which was very interesting because we seen it happen live, but just like because now it's 2024, everything is being exposed in the year of the Mamba and Diddy. Huh.
Mhm.
Diddy, I blame Cat Williams for this, but yeah, I blame Cat Williams for
When I saw
everything
that
that's
picture,
happening. Bruh, did you see the Diddy picture, bruh? Did you see? Did you see the picture from inside the house when they had like it was like 100 gallons of baby oil lined up?
bro, man,
That's
that's some,
all right. That's not a Diddy show, but still,
yeah. How's that? If you guys on my channel, the link is dropped. Y'all can pull up anytime.
most definitely. But yeah, the creation of the Mr. McMahon character. Now, let me ask you this: for those who haven't seen it, right? Do you think the Mr. McMahon character was necessary?
Oh, that's a good question. Uh, I'm gonna say yes. I have to say yes because follow me when I say this. Putting sexual assault and all that stuff to the side, and any other allegations that I heard, that which was wild, by the way. Um, Vince drove in the speed limit that was available to drive in back then. The only way you get canceled is if it was dead wrong back then, and the community, as a community, we can all agree and say, no, you're not getting away from that back then. Now, I'm not condoning sexual assault or harassment, which later came out, such with the female wrestlers and all the other, the female referee Rita Chatterton. But all of this, unfortunately, now I gotta walk back to some of my statements. All of that, although I'm grateful for those characters, that Vince McMahon character, I didn't need it if I knew it was gonna cost somebody's liberty. I'll be all right. I'll find other things entertaining about the business. I didn't need that. Like I understand you can't go back and change because what happened. But had we known on
Mhm.
to this extent, maybe it would have been a little bit different. Maybe
Yeah,
WCW will probably still be in business.
that's why I asked that question. So Vince, let's remember where Vince started at. Vince was originally just an MC. He was a guy that would be on the mic calling in the wrestlers, or he would be calling providing commentary, which was very comfortable for him. A lot of people really didn't know this about Vince. Vince was very comfortable behind that mic, but also he was extremely comfortable in front of that camera too.
Right.
The Mr. McMahon character, I think, came about, and I do think it was a necessity because one, they needed a boost in the company. They was already within the war with WCW and other companies, so like that. Remember, he was taking flack from all sides. Him coming out with the Mr. McMahon character, that was pretty much him coming to the forefront of who he is within his own mental capacity of putting on a show for not just the fans, but also for the wrestlers themselves. Because everybody knew he was, big boss man. He's the one who owns and runs the company. But now you get to see an interaction of, because people in their real life. I mean, y'all work regular jobs. Y'all get to interact with y'all bosses. Sometimes you want to smack the shit out your boss. Let's just be
Mm.
honest. So
Not my
that
current one,
portion,
by the way.
huh?
Not my current one, by the way.
Not your current one. Well, I can tell you, my last boss and the boss before that one. Yeah, I definitely wanted to put hands on both them motherfuckers. Give me 1 second. We got somebody at the door. Hassan, what's up, man?
I
What
saw
up?
what's
What
good,
up?
man.
Salute to both of you. How you guys doing?
All
Good,
right.
man.
Did you get a chance to check out the documentary?
No, but so any breaking news?
Well, one thing we know is the news broke during the recording, and they had to halt production. Now they eventually finished it, and I guess then some of the reporters got to be a little bit more candid, especially that FBI informant from episode 3.
Mm,
Hassan, fix your audio. Your audio is bugging a little bit.
okay.
Yeah, it's like a slight echo there.
What about now?
Yeah, you should be good.
Oh,
But yeah, so we learned quite a bit. We still in like the opening phase, or we just discussing the opening phase of the documentary, because once we get into the later episodes, some shit hit the fan and came out, and it was just like, oh, really? Oh, okay. But right now we're just talking about the creation of the Mr. McMahon character. Hassan, let me ask you: do
yeah.
you think the Mr. McMahon character was necessary?
Yes, it did help. It grew with Stone Cold. Stone Cold needed that. Without Mr. McMahon, I don't think Stone Cold character would have been the same. The Stone Cold Austin feud. So it worked perfectly with the Montreal Screwjob, Survivor Series, and one thing led to another, and Vince started to realize, oh, there's a reaction, because even Vince McMahon said his dad told him never be in the ring, don't be in the ring, just be a promoter, be backstage. Well, Vince, he said, no, I want to be in the ring more involved, and it worked. Who doesn't like the Mr. McMahon character? Him and Stone Cold, him and The Rock, him and Triple H. So we needed that. Long term.
Yeah, most definitely. Jay Wills, what's up, G?
What's up? How everybody doing? How everybody doing?
Salute,
All
salute.
right.
Salute,
Chris, you
salute.
muted, G.
I'm glad you guys pull up because I'm battling the bug right now. I got to step down. Like I said, we ain't missing 2 weeks in a row. I just wanted to pull up and give my take on this conversation. And actually, before I go, I want to talk about this whole steroid situation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because some things that I learned, I knew wrestlers. How can I say this? And I'm talking about I found this out in my later year. Um, I knew steroids were legal. I just didn't know it was legal. It's illegal to prescribe somebody that and um, just to charge them.
Oh shit.
Vince McMahon, because I gotta give credit to Vince McMahon and Jay Prince from Rap A Lot Records, just so we're clear.
I was about to say, make sure you make a clear distinction between
I want
that,
to make this
because
perfectly clear. Rap A Lot Records.
Yo, that's hilarious.
make sure you make a clear distinction on that, G.
Shit. Like the two people that I know that escaped the feds. And Hogan, although Shane has an issue with Hogan on how he left and handling that situation to this day, which shocked me. Hogan said, hold up, full immunity. All right, cool. With that being stated, did Mr. Man know you guys were taking steroids? Yes. Did he tell you guys to take steroids? No. He's like, what do you mean? He didn't distribute steroids? No. Oh, this is not what we went over. I got full immunity. Now what?
I can say what I want now.
Right.
Because yeah, because
Even when you listen to the old stories, they would tell you, man, Terry used to walk around with that pack on him, bro. Listen, they say if you seen Hulk Hogan with a fanny pack, know that he was loaded. He was like the candy store to roast wrestlers, bro.
Oh shit.
You need, yeah, hey, brother, you need D-ball? I got you, brother. Don't worry about it. Like that was Hulk Hogan,
And
bro.
when he lied Arsenio, boy, I was disappointed.
but
I ain't gonna lie. I have no issues with pro wrestlers who take steroids. Bro.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an
You
issue
sure?
with it because pro wrestling is not a sport.
no,
This is
Japan
true.
disagree with you on that, Jay. If you go to Japan,
Pro
pro wrestling is sport in
pro
Japan.
wrestling is not. Okay, let me put it like this: pro wrestling in the United States is not considered a sport. If you're doing it
Mhm.
in baseball, basketball,
No.
football, anything, amateur wrestling, then yeah, I got an issue because it gives you an unfair advantage. But in
Mhm.
professional wrestling, I don't have an issue with it
No,
No, and
because it's
nobody did,
uh,
as long as you didn't break no laws because it was legal back then. It
yeah.
but
wasn't no pushing
but
drugs. You can go.
but Jay, in the South, Ric Flair, the NWA, Jim Cornette, they'll say it's a sport. It's only Vince McMahon said is sports entertainment or entertainment.
Well, that's
I
because
Theatrical,
mean, if you want to consider a sport, I ain't got no issues with that. It's just the outcome is predetermined.
yeah.
right?
So and it's more or less based on can you sell tickets, can you put can you get views, people to watch on TV. No, the metrics for wrestling versus a real sport are different. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And
That,
Valhalla, we're going to talk about Chris Benoit tomorrow.
yeah,
We're
we're
going to do
gonna
a
talk
part
about
two.
Chris Moore.
We're going to talk about Chris Benoit tomorrow. But
But
fellas,
he brings up a point though. Oh, you about to get ready to go? Oh, my bad. Go
yeah,
ahead, dog. You
yeah, I
get
got to go,
Chris,
buddy.
two
Y'all,
things
Yeah,
before you leave.
speedy recovery, bro.
thank you,
Two
man.
things before you leave. If you guys are gonna do the Chris Benoit tomorrow, do the
Yes.
Dark Side of the Ring episode. That's great. And two, so you mentioned the stair. Check out the 1992 or 93 John Donahue. Vince McMahon, Bruno Sammartino was up. A lot of wrestlers like about the steroid. And I think one wrestler, I think superstar Billy Graham, accused Pat Patterson of raping or touching Roddy
Oh,
Piper.
they talked about that. They did talk about that.
Oh
Oh,
Pat
okay,
my.
okay,
Patterson,
okay.
Mel, some other guy who was ring boss or whatever, the black ring announcer, he was touching on underage children,
Oh yeah,
and
I heard
another
about
guy
that.
was, and they didn't. The children didn't accept advances. They got fired. So it was known that they were the P words, and they ultimately got released from the company. Now, Pat Patterson, who is LGBTQIA, did resign from the company, but he later came back on TV the following week.
Yeah.
Well,
You
go
should
ahead and get you some rest, bro. You look out of it. So go ahead and get you some rest, bro. Speedy
Yes,
recovery
sir.
to you.
Yeah.
Y'all
salute,
enjoy
salute,
yourselves. I'm gonna catch the replay in the morning. I'll talk to y'all later.
No
salute,
doubt.
salute.
Salute, salute.
But yeah, you
Uh,
should watch the original one, the interview 19. I think it's still on YouTube. It's crazy. Superstar Billy Graham went off.
yeah, the thing about it was, man, so many. It was, man. Listen, this is why I love these old stories. This is why I'm happy that this documentary came out. You know, we've been hearing over these past few years because everybody's all up in arms and excited because Undertaker's not doing podcasting, which is great because we never heard from Undertaker like that. But listen to all of these old road stories from like all these other like the Hannibal channel. I don't know a whole lot of people who watch really the Hannibal channel when he talks about his wrestling stuff, but all these old stories, man, you get to hear stories about all that shit that went on the road, in hotels, backstage, gorilla, locker rooms, all of that stuff is coming to the light. And oh, let me pull up my man's Omni. Omni, that's you?
Yeah,
There
it's
you go.
me.
Oh,
Can
okay.
you hear me?
Yeah. I gotta do a double check when I bring people up. You know what happened last time.
So for
Salute, salute.
real. Salute, brother.
Salute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Salute.
So, but the
Yo.
stare. What up, though?
Oh no, I was just gonna say because I tried to load in on you asking if you know what I'm saying McMahon was a necessary
Oh
character in
yeah, go
wrestling.
ahead.
I think he
Oh
was
man.
because you know what I'm saying it sets up the dynamic of you know what I'm saying the rest of the roster going against the establishment. You know what I'm saying? That's a classic story that people were going to love and enjoy till the end of time. It's going against the establishment, rage against the machine type shit. You know what I mean? Like that rebelling against established order, corporate
Mhm.
interests, that sort of thing. And that's what he represented. That was very necessary. And I think he mastered that actually. I think he mastered that, setting himself
100%.
up to be sort of a super villain as character. Like they had villains in wrestling, but he was more of a super villain type character. You know what I'm saying? Like it was beautiful. I think they need a return to that, honestly.
One of the greatest heroes of all time, bro.
Well, you look at it like this: you can never have another Mr. McMahon. You see what I'm saying?
Ever.
You can't. I don't even know if it's even like even at Triple H's age. Well, we all know he had heart conditions and stuff like that. He can't replicate the Mr. McMahon character. We see Vince. We see Triple H, the heel boss of WWE now. But you can't have another Mr. McMahon. All those antics, all those scripts, all those skits, man, that shit is legendary, bro. The scene with him and Austin in the hospital, when Austin hit him over here with the bedpan, when he came down and he blew out both of his quads getting into the ring, when he would the kiss my ass storylines and stuff like that. Man, listen, the Vince McMahon story, the Mr. McMahon storylines is just great. And then not to include, not only was he an owner and promoter, he was also a wrestler. He participated in a few matches too. And as old as Vince was, that motherfucker was in great shape, bro. He had a match with Hogan. I never forget that match when it was on the cage. He threw Hogan. When he threw, I think Hogan threw him off the cage, or he threw Hogan off the cage.
No, that was Stone Cold. Stone Cold, the cage match.
Well, which one did he have with Hogan?
WrestleMania 19.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that one. But yeah, Vince, he went, bro. Like that Mr. McMahon character, as legendary as it is, it can't be repeated. It can't even be replicated. I don't even think nobody can even try.
Yeah, he's number one. But
Jim Cornette said he wished Vince McMahon had started earlier.
Yeah,
true.
I mean, go ahead, my bad.
Oh no! Oh yeah, because he should have. He said he wish he would have been a wrestler in his younger years because he got it. Like he understood. You know what I'm saying? He understood how to be a heel and how to take advantage of the moment. And the Miss McMahon character it's organic. Like you know what I'm saying? The Montreal screw job happened, and it just.
But Jay, the second to that is Eric Bischoff. His character was pretty good too, as a heel boss and everything.
Most definitely.
But now I heard that the Montreal screw job it might be a work. What do you guys think about that?
I don't think it is.
What work in which way? Against and for who?
Like Vince, Sean, and Brett, like they all knew this was gonna happen.
Hell
Like,
no. I don't think Brett knew anything. I'm under the belief that Triple H, Sean, and Vince knew. I'm solely under the belief that Brett didn't know. And when Undertaker found out, Undertaker was like, "What the fuck? What do you mean?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because let's not forget, they would never forget that scene where, and a lot of people have attested to this, when Vince went to Brett's locker room, and Brett was like, "You got until I get out the shower, and if you still here, I'm gonna punch you in your shit." And he went, and he got in the shower, and when he came back out, Vince was still there. If you watch that camera angle. When Vince was walking out that locker room, Vince had caught him a nice one. And Brett laid into him.
Shawn Michaels ran. He was terrified, bro.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels was terrified. And ain't no way Vince McMahon about to have somebody write WCW in the middle of his ring at that time. Absolutely not.
Well, you got to remember it happened already. I can't remember that the female name. She was the women's champ. She left WWE.
Elijah Blaze.
There it is. She went to WCW and threw away the belt on national TV, and it was just like, oh,
Medusa. Yeah.
Medusa.
95, 96.
That's part of the reason why he owned the contracts are what they are. Her ravishing Rick Rude were part of the reason why they got the 90-day no compete clause in their contracts now.
Yeah.
So you can't go to another company and do nothing like that.
Yeah.
Do nothing like that.
Well, you look at people who did jump ship and then they didn't shit on the business, right? And what I mean by not shit on the business, they didn't shit on Vince McMahon. You look at Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. When they went to WCW, excuse me, when they went to WCW, they went over there with full. They first of all, their contracts was just out the wazoo. They knew what they was doing because they knew that Eric Bischoff just he was trying to beat Vince. And they knew they can work themselves into some big money here. You see what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. I always will view WCW as a televised bar fight. That's always how I view WCW. It was amazing, though. But that was the product that they sold, and it was working. So the the Mr. McMahon character coming out during that time, he was just like, all right, these motherfuckers over here, They're having a bar fight. I'm sick of y'all. Y'all need to step up and do something. And Stone Cold was just like, bro, who you talking to? You see what I'm saying? So it was hella necessary. So moving from that to, and I know a lot of people say the Montreal Screwjob is the start of the Mr. McMahon character. I think he's always been like this. It's just that because of what he promised his dad about not being in the ring, this has always been something he wanted to do.
No, I say when he got stunned by Stone Cold 2 months prior in September of '97.
Well, you had to go before that when Stone Cold and Bret Hart got into it too.
Yeah, I remember. I remember watching something where Vince was like, he said he didn't want to get in the ring. He didn't really want to be a part of that, and when the screw job happened, he was trying to make himself like the good guy. He wasn't trying to be the bad guy, be the villain, but everybody, like, people knew, and it was just like, nah, I'm not rocking with you. So he just went with it. I mean, that's what I saw.
You talking about Vince was trying to portray himself as a good guy?
Yeah, like he was trying to portray himself as the good guy the whole time, and people found out that actually was real, and they was not rocking with him.
Yeah, well, he had to, right? Look what you just did to the star of your company in his hometown. You see what I'm saying? So not only did you got to save your fans. Of course, you still got to protect the business, but you got to keep your fans. Your fans is what bring you the money. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe their next stop was in Detroit, right? Vince knew because of how Bret was talking or how he was acting. He knew he did not want to drop that belt to Shawn. And he knew that he was getting on his way to WCW. So how do we rectify this situation? We want to do it in a way to where it's still wrestling, but we gotta, and I'm saying not because this is Diddy's era or this year, but we gotta fuck them in public, but in the wrestling, but in the business way. You see what I'm saying? So what's the best way to do it? I'm sorry, go ahead, Hassan.
No, my bad. But that started at WrestleMania 12, the year prior, '96, because Bret said, "Hey, I'll lay down and I'll give you the belt, but you got to return the favor." Shawn Michaels looked at him and said, "I don't think so, buddy." And that's
Hassan is 100%.
Yeah,
Hassan 100%. Shawn Michaels ain't want the job to Bret Hart. He ain't want to lay down for Bret, so Bret was like, "If you ain't gonna lay down for me, I ain't laying down for you."
Same thing happened with other people. That same thing that Stone Cold did about Brock Lesnar. He was like, I'm not doing the job for him. You see what I'm saying?
But I understand Stone Cold though. I'm not losing.
My bad. Go ahead.
I understand Stone Cold. I'm not losing to Brock Lesnar on Monday Night Raw when that is a WrestleMania match. It don't make sense.
Wait,
Monday Night Raw was Stone Cold's show. I mean, you might as well just call it that.
No. Yeah. I don't know if he's telling the truth, but Stone Cold said, "Let it be a build up to the King of the Ring, the final King of the Ring." Like there was no build. That's what Stone Cold was upset about.
Well, that's what he's saying. On TV? Hell no.
Yeah, I'm not giving you Stone Cold versus Brock on TV. What?
Yeah.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah, we could build up to it, but not. And even in that part, and I gotta make it through some more of the documentary because I wonder if they really covered that. But excuse me, even in the documentary, you can they went over a little bit about the strings that Vince pulled. And don't get me wrong, Vince played people, not in the bad way, yeah, because of the accusations. But Vince played people. He knew just how to stoke a person in the right way to get them to agree to stuff. This is how he took over the territories. This is how business was done with Vince. If Vince wanted Hassan and Jay Wills in a match, but he knew they was cool, I need to stir up some shit between these two motherfuckers. You see what I'm saying?
Vince was the king of Jedi mind tricks. That's what every wrestler says, bro, to this day.
And Jay, what made it worse for Shawn and Bret, that when Bret Hart was becoming the heel and the villain, Vince McMahon started, like Cellulite said, he was giving that character to Shawn Michaels. Now he's becoming a heel, and Shawn Michaels Bret Hart's all confused. Wait a minute, I'm the heel. I turn at WrestleMania. I'm supposed to be this big heel. Why are you giving my heel spot to Shawn Michaels? Because Shawn was a better villain. And don't get me wrong, Bret Hart was a good bad guy too in that period of time. of '97.
But we know what it was about. It was about money. Brett
But
wanted more money, and Vince was not willing to give him more money. Go ahead, Jay.
oh, I was gonna say, but at that time, you couldn't really make Brett a heel because every time they went to Canada, he a face. Canada was
Exactly.
not about to turn on Bret Hart at all, or the
Yeah.
Hart Foundation.
Yeah,
So
he could suplex a baby and they'll still love him.
suplex the
Sell.
baby is crazy.
Bro, I'm telling you, if Brett would have grabbed the baby out the womb, threw it up against the turnbuckle, and then suplexed it and then put it in, they would have loved him for it. Dog. They wouldn't have turned on him. Ain't no he could have suplexed the baby and then did a leg drop and an elbow drop, and they would still love him for it.
Man,
But cellulite, Vince did
Hold on,
sign
really
up
quick.
for
Could you imagine Bret Hart throwing a sharpshooter on the infant? and they cheering this motherfucker off. And Vince is gonna sit back there like this is crazy and chaotic, but goddamn it, I love it. It's good for business.
No, he will make millions. But Vince did sign a contract for Bret Hart 30 years. Then, like months later, Vince said, I can't do it no more. And that's what pissed off Bret Hart.
Yeah, Vince was legendary for doing that. Kevin Nash talked about that a little bit. He said, "Man, you can get one contract, and then a month later, that contract is gone, and out the door you get another one, and it's probably worse or a little bit better, depends." But Vince was well known for doing that, though. But look, like Chris said at the very beginning of this at the show, you got Vince the personal, and then you got Vince the businessman, and I believe Vince the businessman, yeah. So just like Bruce Wayne and Batman, we all know who the real character between Bruce Wayne and Batman was, right?
yeah.
The real identity is Batman. Bruce Wayne is actually the costume. I mean, Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is actually the costume. I think for Vince McMahon, Mr. McMahon was the real character. Personal Vince McMahon was just a costume. And in this interview, in this documentary, oh man, did that costume show its ass. But yeah, let's get on to the next subtopic. So the impact of WrestleMania on WWE's global popularity. Now, in this documentary, they talked a little bit. Well, actually, they talked quite a bit about how WrestleMania was the show of the shows, right? Because you have all these different territories, you have all these different companies putting on shows, and these was more local, in-house, like people around the city, they knew who you was. WrestleMania put it on top because it was on national TV. You see what I'm saying? Not only was it on national, it was a global thing, right? It brought so many eyeballs to what professional wrestling, not just what was called WWF back in the day, but it brought eyeballs onto what professional wrestling was. What do y'all think about the impact of WrestleMania on WWE's global popularity? How did y'all think it was a good thing? How big was it?
Go ahead, Jay.
Oh, WrestleMania was definitely big. It was definitely necessary. It was definitely one of the things that really helped put wrestling on the map. Like you can't deny that. That's something you just can't deny, bro.
Yeah, you look at. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My bad, but we got to give credit to Starrcade. Without Starrcade, that didn't WrestleMania never happened because WWE needed a big super event, and what's his name? Howard Finkel said, "How about we have WrestleMania, and then the football have Super Bowl, and these have the World Series." So for wrestling, we gotta appreciate of the start of the Starrcade. Without Starrcade, there will never be a WrestleMania in wrestling history, pro wrestling. So
Yeah.
it
But the thing about Starrcade though, that was on local TV. That wasn't really a huge broadcast. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, that's why I said locally. Starrcade was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Dusty Rhodes was behind that, right?
Yeah.
Starrcade was more for the local wrestlers. WrestleMania, that was for all the big names, and that was for the world to see. It was just, do y'all remember the match that Ric Flair had? I believe it was was that in China or Korea?
Against who? The collision in Korea?
Yeah, that was in Korea, right?
94.
Yeah, and Ali was there too. Shout out to Ali.
Inoki, yeah.
Yeah, so WrestleMania was that deal, and it brought a lot of attention. And in that documentary, they was talking about all of the strains and struggles that led up to that point. They went through a lot just getting there. You got to remember, this is right after everything had just happened with the territories. And now everybody's looking at Vince like, all right, cool. So now you got everything up under your belt. I believe his dad was still around. I got to go back and check and see. But now that everything's under your belt, what are you going to do with it? Right? You got to put on a show because we ain't just TV no more. We need to get out here on a world level. And with Hulk Hogan being there, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is when Mr. T was on that poster with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a little bit of a star power too. This is was Mr. T doing the 18 now yet or no?
Yeah, this was
this opens up to Hollywood too, and we all know Hollywood got quite a bit of influence with and around WWE. So yeah, WrestleMania was that deal. That's where a lot of things happened. A lot of storylines came out of WrestleMania as well, and I think because Vince was behind it, and y'all know he met with creative everywhere. If Vince called you and said, "Hey, Hassan, what are you doing? What are you doing, Hassan? yeah. You had your sister's birthday party. All right, cool. I need you to come down to this hotel." It's just like my sister's birthday. Yeah, well, I'll send your sister a package. Just get out of the hotel. And you get there, and Vince is in the fucking pool with a thong on with a cigar, and he's just like, "All right, so WrestleMania, give me some ideas. Go." It's just like, motherfucker, I wasn't even thinking about this. I was thinking about my sister's birthday party.
But so now I remember that Howard Finkel came up with the idea because the Beatles had Beatlemania, their big show. And so how about we have WrestleMania? So there you go.
Yeah.
So WrestleMania came from the Beatlemania.
Well, I mean, Beatlemania, was it as big as WrestleMania?
Well, back in the day, it kind of was. But WrestleMania now is big, yeah.
I'm about to say it probably was. It's the Beatles.
I have a very embarrassing thing I have to say out in public now. Do y'all know I don't know that much but Beatles music?
I don't know no Beatles music either.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I don't feel bad. Well, I don't feel bad then.
Yeah, I don't know
Everybody
either.
everybody talking about the Beatles. Go ahead, Jay Will.
The thing, it's like Taylor Swift. I don't know no Taylor Swift music, but I can't deny the fact that she's one of the biggest artists in the world at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It's just how it is.
And then also you look at where look how iconic of a location other than Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden. A lot of people really don't understand like the aura that really comes with Madison Square Garden. That's a very important holy ground for a lot of events, sports, entertainment, singers. Everything that happened in the Garden is big money. So you have to put on a damn good show. I wouldn't necessarily say Vince was stressed. I think everybody around him was stressed, but because of who he was, he's like, look, this is what we're gonna do, and this is how it's gonna happen. So, hey, Jay Wills, what are you doing? Oh, your mother's in the hospital. All right, well, I'll take care of your mother's hospital bill. Get down to the hotel. You're just like, bro, my mama's on life support. Your mother be all right. She'll be all right. Just get down the hotel. And then you get there. Right. And you get there, you like, Vince, what do you want, bro? All right, so WrestleMania. So main event. What are we gonna do? What's your ideas? I'm not thinking about WrestleMania.
My mom in the hospital, man.
My mom in the hospital, bro. What the fuck are we doing here? God damn.
Now I'm just getting my ideas, so I'll get back to my mom. This is crazy.
Right. I'm gonna throw anything up against the wall. So, but you look at who he brought in. I mean, you had Hulk Hogan and Mr. T. They went against Roddy Piper and
Paul Orndorff.
There it is. Yeah, big names. Was Ali there? I believe.
Yeah, he was the outside enforcer.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was a referee.
No, he was the enforcer.
And then
cool.
And then you have Jimmy Snuka outside and Randy Orton's father.
Cowboy Bob Orton.
Yeah. So look at the names of the people who was at that event. This event popped, and because Ali and all those other people was there, that made this event pop. And that was, I'm not gonna say a blow up for WWF or WWE, that was it wasn't a blow up. It was just a more so, hey, this is y'all. This is new to y'all. This is what we used to. This star
Cindy
power.
Lauper, she doesn't get her credit enough. Cindy Lauper played a big role
Mhm.
in WrestleMania and rock and roll wrestling.
This is a serious thing. Like Vince, if there's one thing about Vince, he understood star power.
Yeah.
He understood, like, yo, you gotta bring in the top of the top stars to get people who probably would never watch wrestling in their life to come and tune into this.
Yeah.
But what the crazy the WWE fans think Muhammad Ali was only in WrestleMania, but Ali was in the wrestling in the 70s when he fought Inoki. He had like this stand up with Gorilla Monsoon in the 70s. So Ali has a big role in wrestling, you know.
I think he said he took his promo style from Classy Freddie Blassie.
Yes.
No.
Mhm.
George is George.
I thought it was Freddie Blassie.
No. He says George is George from the 40s and 50s.
I'm about to go check that out. Ali's match with Antonio Inoki, that was a special match. The reason was because if you know how big Antonio Inoki was in the Japan pro wrestling scene, huge. He was like God over there.
He's the Vince McMahon like in America, like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when he passed, which was very sad. When Antonio Inoki passed, that whole country cried. Yes, that's how big he was. But he wasn't just big in Japan. Like if you ask a lot of the old timers who Antonio Inoki was, especially those who knew how much of an influence he had over here in America, man, he was really big. Because you got to remember, a lot of wrestlers they started either they started here and they went over to Japan to build up some some experience, and they came back. But Antonio, man, he took care of everybody. You know who I was surprised to see at the very beginning of this documentary? Tony Atlas, and I was like, damn, they got Tony in this thing. Man, they got Tony in this thing.
He got paid.
I didn't watch. What's the name? Is Jesse Ventura.
Maybe in the next one.
Because I know he hates Vince. He hates him and he hates Hulk Hogan.
No, because Hogan snitched him out. That's why.
Yeah, I know he hates them, bro.
But you know which WrestleMania they don't talk about a lot?
Which one?
WrestleMania 2. That's the only WrestleMania held in 3 different cities in one night. So each city got 3-4 matches: Chicago, LA, and New York. WrestleMania 2.
I have to look that out. Let me go look.
They talk about because that kind of doesn't work out as good because I remember they did that for a Raw too. They did it in two different cities, and it's like, okay, you're watching the matches live, and then when they go to the matches in the other city, you gotta watch it on a Titantron now.
Yeah. But that was still in the New York area, like the Manhattan and Madison Square Garden. But this one is 3 different cities in one night: New York, Chicago, and LA. And each one got their own main event, you can say. One of them was Roddy Piper and Mr. T in a boxing match. The other one is the real main event is Hogan and King Kong Bundy inside the steel cage. And the third one, I think it was a battle royal, WWE stars versus NFL stars.
I remember that, yo. I remember what my cousin let me borrow the tapes to watch that.
Yeah.
All right, here's the thing though. Business wise, I would say it's a good thing, right? Because you don't want everyone to just refer to only one thing that happened, especially if you look how big WrestleMania 1 was. We got to put something big on for WrestleMania 2. Was it a good business move at the time? Probably. That's probably why Vince did it, because you got to remember, Vince did everything for a reason. You know what I'm saying? That because of these allegations. But to have 3 different main events in 3 different cities for one under the banner of one, I mean, hell yeah, it makes sense at that time. But now that's stretching so many people so far, so thin. And that's money that you stretching thin as well. You're talking about 3 different venues running at once. You got to have commentators for each one. You got to have referees for each one. You got to have multiple people because you got a whole card for each one. Plus, you got 3 main events going at once. Imagine how stressful it is to run one gorilla. Now, times that by 3.
No.
That's
it
why
didn't happen all at once though. Like one event ended, then the screen comes and you watch the next event on the big giant. And in each one, I think they had their own commentaries. It was like, damn, that's like the only.
That's why they don't do it. Like that's why they did it only one other time after that, which was that Raw a few
25th
years
anniversary.
ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why they don't really do it because it's like that's like you said, so that's hard to navigate.
Yeah.
It's hard, and then the fans, if you're in attendance and your show go first, now you watching the other two events at on the Titantron.
Mm-hmm.
I could have stayed home for this.
Exactly. Right.
And the other arena, they got Undertaker and DX, the Manhattan one, and the one in Madison Square Garden, they got Stone Cold at the end though.
Yeah, it's like you torn between what do you watch? You don't know if you want to look at the Titantron or you want to look at what's going on in the ring. It's like, man, what the fuck is going on here? It's just as bad as Vince calling you at your grandma's funeral.
Hey, brother, what are you doing?
I'm putting grandma on the ground.
Okay, well, come on down to the hotel. The grandma will be all right. I'll pay for the rest of the burial.
It's like,
That's my grandma.
exactly.
It's tell you like before we move on, did you hear Vinnie Mac paid off the police to hide the Jimmy Snuka murder?
I heard that.
Yeah, he paid
I
off
didn't hear about that. Is it in a documentary?
in the dark side of the ring.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I had to go back and check it out. But the one thing we can't talk about because at Chris's request, because they did mention a little bit about the Chris Benoit story in the doc. Well, we mentioned a little bit about it being in the documentary. Let's not talk about the Chris Benoit thing because he said he don't want to spoil for him. Okay. I know I'm gonna go back and watch it because that Chris Benoit thing is a lot deeper than what a lot of people think. A lot of people think it's just on the surface because of steroids and all. No.
Oh no, I don't think it's because of steroids. I don't think it's steroids at all. But we can have that conversation later.
Yeah, we got that conversation later. We're not gonna do it.
For what he did, forever F Chris Benoit. But we can have that conversation later.
Well, that's why you gotta go watch the documentary before we talk about it in depth because Vince, I'm gonna leave it at that. Just go watch the documentary.
Wait, real quick, are you talking about the Dark Side of the Ring documentary or there's a new one about Chris?
No, you're talking about the Vince McMahon one, I think.
The Vince McMahon one. They talk about Chris Benoit.
I know, because Vince McMahon was pissed. He was pissed.
And yes, he was.
And after that, that's why Linda lost the senator. She was running for a senator, and he was spending a lot of money. That's why she lost. You can see in his face when she lost, like motherfucker. He was so pissed, like damn. Vinnie Mac. Because Linda almost became senator that year too.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Yeah, they was trying to. His wife was trying to move into politics, and now. Of all the questions and all the rumors surrounding wrestling, and she almost got her foot in the door. Chris Benoit happened. It's just like you, I can imagine Vince at home tearing the whole goddamn house up, and it's like, what can you do to stop him? First of all, Vince himself was worded up to all hell, but at the same time, who gonna fight him?
Ain't nobody.
So let's talk about Vince's business strategies and controversies. Now, a lot of these allegations and controversies that's coming up in the documentary, been hearing about for quite some time, especially from all these old. Now that everybody's coming out and really having a voice, especially these old timers. Vince's business strategies has always been of the. If you follow the market, they call it the bull market, like when shit's just moving. Vince has always been a bull when it came to moving the business, but he was calculated as hell. Vince never did anything by mistake. So when it was talking about the documentary was like, let's talk about the WCW takeover and stuff like that, and also the territories takeover. Do y'all think, one, do you think Vince did that in spite of his father? Or do you just think he did that in spite? No, I'm sorry, not his father. Do you think he did it in spite of those other territories, or do you think that's just who he is and he just said, fuck it, I'm taking it?
Well, back in if you listen to the old documentaries and interview, there's a code. Do not put your events in our territory. Respect that. Vinnie Mac had a different idea. He said, I'm the Roman Empire. I'm gonna come and wipe you all out. Now, the way he did it, in the way he did it, he was paying channels and stuff. Hey, don't air WCW, don't air the NWO, air my show. And the other, and even Jim Cornette, He said back in the old bosses of the territory that they almost sent a hitman to leave Vince McMahon at that time. That's how much.
That's only one of the many death
Yeah.
threats that he got.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
So Vinnie Mac is looking at the long term. Hey, I can make money. I can become a billionaire. So the way he did it was smart. Now, is it dirty? Yeah. Did he break the rules? Yes. But sometimes you got to say the hell with it. Either you play along or you don't. Are you gonna be, and a lot of wrestling promoters they were falling behind. Times have changed in the 80s. So Vince McMahon, cable was hot, so he took advantage of it. Hulk Hogan did Rocky, so I can take him from the NWA. Jesse Ventura was Navy, and he I think he did a movie too, and he signed the Predator. He said, "Let me take him. He has a good voice." And the way he did it, hey, he gambled with it. And he always say, if you listen to Vin, you got to have ruthless aggression. I guess he means that ruthless aggression. He gambled and he succeeded.
Vince was cutthroat. He didn't care about
Cutthroat,
none
yeah.
of it. He was cutthroat. He didn't care about none of that, bro. And plus, a lot of wrestlers, even Jim Cornette, will tell you, Vince, he ain't grow up watching wrestling. He ain't grow. He wasn't he wasn't a wrestling fan growing up, bro. He just saw it as an opportunity to make some money, become a billionaire. So he ain't care about none of that. He ain't care about none of them rules or none of that. I'm taking y'all wrestlers. I'm about to pay these wrestlers. I'm taking y'all top wrestlers, and y'all about to be done out here. What you
And he
gonna do?
changed it to entertainment too. Instead of wrestling, entertainment. Instead of saying the Roman, he's like the Mongols. Cellulite is a
Mhm.
Mongol. Just came and took everybody out in sight.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a purpose behind that though, right? You brought up when Hulk Hogan went to go do Rocky. Hulk Hogan got in trouble for going to do Rocky.
Yeah.
He got in trouble because I believe it was either Vince Senior or Vince Junior, one or two. He did it pretty much without notifying them. I'm sorry, he did notify them. They just didn't want him to do it, and he was like, "Well, this is a big break for me. Like, I understand y'all want me to continue on in this business, but this is a big break for me. I'm going to do it." So when he went to go do Rocky, and he tried to come back, they pretty much shunned him. They closed the door on him. And I believe it was California that Hulk Hogan went to right after that, and he went to go wrestle for
AWA.
AWA, yeah. So while he was out there putting in work at AWA, Vince Jr. came and got Hulk. Oh no, he sent I think he sent the telegram or he sent some type of message to Hulk Hogan like, "Hey, I want you to call me." You know what I'm saying? And Hulk Hogan called him. He was like, "I want you to, I want you to come to New York. I want to, put you, back in the business with the company, and we want to do some work with you." And Hulk was kind of reluctant to do it, but because of Vince's father, I think it was Vince's father that didn't want nothing else to do with Hulk Hogan. It was Vince Jr. that was like, "We need him," because Vince knew that with Hulk Hogan, we can lift this thing to something else. But that's part of the controversy because he was trying to. It was more so he was showing that he was going against his father's will, as in what was going on with the business, and a lot of people took bullshit because of that. Jesse Ventura was one of them. Jesse was just like, "To hell with him. What do we need him back for? It's enough talent here. We can make this thing work ourselves." But also, he also had a vendetta against Hulk Hogan.
Facts.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vince was never shy to step on somebody's neck to get the win.
But that's the thing, Vince was about his bread. He about making money. He don't care about none of your beefs or none of that, bro. Vince, if he see if you know Hulk Hogan, the guy's gonna take it to the next level, he gonna go get Hulk Hogan. And that's just what it is. He don't care about none of your personal relationships, none of that, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is also during the time when he came back. Iron Sheik, he was going to work with Iron Sheik, and Sheik. That's when the story came out where Sheik said that somebody was trying to pay him. I think it was like
The
can't
Vern the president of the AWA, paid him.
Vern Gagne. Yeah, he tried to pay Iron Sheik to break Hulk Hogan's legs, and when he told him, Hulk Hogan was like, "Well, goddamn, what happened?" And at the end of the day, because everybody knew Hulk Hogan was money, Vince primarily knew Hulk Hogan was money. You see what I'm saying? When he went over to Japan, he was money. When he went over to Russia or Germany, wherever the hell, anytime Hulk goes somewhere, he was money, and Vince knew that. So when Hulk Hogan left Vern Gagne, Vern was like, "You motherfucker." He was like, "When they didn't take you in, I'm the one that took you in, and now you about to run right back to them." So he hit up Iron Sheik, was like, "Hey, bro, listen, I want you to break his legs." And I don't know if Vince knew about this conversation or not, but I'm pretty sure it got back around to Vince, and Vince was just like, "Oh, okay, all right. If he break your leg, I'm gonna do something to him." Because remember, man,
I wish somebody would really do something about him.
I love impersonating Vince. It's funny as hell. Now, with his business strategies and his controversies, we already come to the conclusion. Vince will step on your neck to get some shit done. Now we get into the scandals that's coming about in this documentary. And y'all know because of the allegations that came about, they had to halt filming for the documentary, and then eventually they went back to finishing it. What's some scandals y'all heard about involving Vince?
Groping on women, backstabbing a lot of people, paying police officers in murder cases, drug cases. Like, damn. And people say Vince has people in every state and everywhere, you know? He has connections.
This guy did he?
What?
Man, did he?
I thought we was talking about Vince, not Diddy. We ain't talking about Diddy. We talking about But when Hassan is talking about it, it sounds like Diddy. You see what I'm saying?
Dude.
But but and he'll do anything. Like, you know, he's paying other network, hey, don't put Cellulite show on. Put my, like, damn. And he paid to them. Here's $100,000. Just don't put their show on. So he done a lot of shady stuff, but it worked. That's the wrestling we grew up and loved anyway. So we gotta look at in his mindset. Hey, I'm winning. I'm a billionaire. No one's gonna tell me no. You tell me no, I'm gonna run over you and do any means necessary. What else? He touched a lot of women. A lot of women came out. Now, I don't know if they're true or not, but there's a lot of them. He pays women to sleep with them. A lot of a lot of stuff. Now, I haven't heard of he deleted somebody, but you never know. Maybe that one day that will come.
I mean, I did hear about the.
Go ahead, Jay Wilson.
I did hear about, like, you know, the women, like, it's certain women who did things. He had them do certain things for opportunities. So I did hear about that. And I also heard about him, especially in the territories, when Jim Cornette was telling stories, paying to not have their stuff aired so they could air WWF at the time. So I did hear that too.
But my bad. But Cellulite, Jay, do you guys hear about this? It almost happened. Vince McMahon wanted a storyline with Stephanie, that like they're together and stuff.
Oh, I heard about that.
And she's about to get pregnant. They're making out. Like, what the? And Stephanie said, "Hell no, that's not gonna happen."
This is wild. Yeah, I heard about that.
What the hell just happened? Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. I need to check something because we just dropped down to 0.
Uh-oh.
Hold on.
Did somebody do something?
No, we didn't do anything. I still see us live on my side. Let me go to Wrestling Wednesday side. Because it said video unavailable.
Let me find out. You about to
No, we're still live. I still see you.
Do the 9 stages, right?
Okay, cool.
Oh, I thought he who shall not be named was about to get.
I mean, you're right.
9 stages of hell.
Only one person watching, but yeah, we're still live. The video.
Okay, yeah, because for a second it said video not available. Chris, when you do your replay of this, let me know what happened, because that shit just dropped to 0, and then it says video unavailable.
Oh.
I'm checking my oh, listen, I already told y'all, if my channel get deleted, you know what time it is. It ain't even no question.
So I seen it. I was about to come on the panel and be the devil on your
Mhm.
shoulder.
Bro, I'm
But I
telling
feel,
you, it was.
I feel like Raw B was going to knock me down, so I was like, let me chill.
Let's Nah, bro. Listen, I told everybody, and then we're gonna get back to this wrestle talk. I told everybody if my channel get deleted, I hope and pray you are subscribed to Chaotic Hero because it's going down. I guarantee you.
It could be
But
that
back
one
to
person plays dirty. But yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
yeah,
it could have been. But back to this wrestling thing really quick. The scandals that I've heard about when it came to Vince, it wasn't just that. It wasn't just backstabbing people. It wasn't just, the women touch a thing. It wasn't the territories thing. It was one of the scandals that I heard about that I've never heard. I heard it once. And this is a long time ago. This is over on Hannibal's channel when he was I can't remember who he was interviewing. But it was Vince trying to pretty much strong arm his way into the political arena. If you know how much money Vince was shilling out for Linda to exist within the political arena, I think that's another reason why the Chris Benoit thing pissed him off because he spent a lot of money dealing with trying to get Linda into the political arena. But not only that, even during COVID and stuff like that, you talking about how he was paying TV companies here in America. Imagine what he was doing outside, right? You think about all of those deals that he made. You think about all the people who got fucked over. Hell, even with New Japan, there's some stories in New Japan that Vince was a business guy, but some of those people over there really wanted to take Vince out because they wasn't used to that type of rhetoric or that type of businessman over there. Over there, they like strictly business. Vince over there in Japan, it was like, man, listen, bro,
it's
we
crazy.
slash your throat.
Crazy you mentioned
Facts.
Japan because Inoki was WWF champion in the 70s, and Vince never recognized that.
That's another reason too. Go ahead, Jay Wills. You about to say something?
Oh no! I wasn't gonna say anything.
But yeah, Japan wasn't really hot about that. And when Vince went over there and he was trying to strong arm his way, they was looking at him like, bro, you'll be food tomorrow. Keep playing. Keep playing. But Vince knew where he could and how he could make his moves. And where he couldn't, he sent people to do it. And he will send a star over there to get big and hot and to make sure that the people love him and stuff, and he will work his way from the inside out. That's just some of the scandals though. But in the documentary though, I think they're not just gonna focus on the allegations that he's facing. There's a lot of other scandals that's going on. When you talk about all those wrestlers who have lost their life, it's been said for years that Vince has allegedly sacrificed people. But you keep on listening. Hold on one second. Hey, Alan West, what's going on, my G? There's a lot of fuck shit with the NWA and Black Tuesday. Yeah, 1,000% true. That's man. It's scandals for years when it comes. Yeah, Black Saturday. It's scandals for years when it comes down to Vince. The allegations that he's facing is just on the surface because it's 2024 and everything's coming out, Diddy. And then now you got Vince on the table, but it's not just Vince, it's people who was also involved with Vince. If you listen to a lot of these women wrestlers from back in the day, they'll tell you, oh, it was some shady shit we had to do just to be on TV.
John Laurinaitis,
Pat Patterson, Gerald Briscoe, Maybe JBL.
Get money out here.
Kevin Dunn, and he just resigned 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
Triple H got rid of all of them.
Yeah.
No, there's still two. Michael P.S. Hage and what's the other guy?
Oh yeah.
Bruce Love. Brother Love, what's his name?
Bruce Pritchard.
Bruce Pritchard. They still do.
Yeah, that's because they ass kissers, so they going to do what they got to do to keep their job. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, and there's another. My bad, Jay, but I don't know if you guys consider this scandalous, but he did pay Paul Heyman $10,000 every month when ECW was falling apart. So the deal was whatever stars they come, which you got the Dudleys, Cactus Jack, Stone Cold, and Paul Heyman guaranteed a job if ECW falls completely. So Vince was paying him $10,000, and even Tommy Dreamer was saying to Paul Heyman, "Hey, how come we don't do business with WCW? We got big money." Paul Heyman told him Vince will be upset with me. He will never forgive me. But at the time, Tommy didn't put two to two together, and Tommy missed out on a lot of money, a lot with WCW.
A lot of people miss out on a lot of money, and I
Mm-hmm.
hate to put Paul Heyman in that light, but it's just the truth. That's why Paul Heyman got shunned for quite some time as well. Because when Paul Heyman started saying no to Vince, Paul Heyman got pushed to the side quick, and it took a lot for him to come back. But that's only one of the scandals, and you're absolutely right. When it came down to him paying out, just like he did with the TV deals, just like he did with ECW, imagine what he did with WCW. But that's why Chris said if it wasn't for Mr. McMahon, WCW still exists to this day. Probably. You never know. Then you think about companies like TNA. Huh?
I disagree with that because the thing is, WCW shot themselves in the foot with the whole
They did.
Mick
With
Foley
India.
thing. Part of it
Yeah.
was the Mick Foley thing. Yeah, they kind of shot themselves in the foot. So I don't know how much truth there is to that. If it was for Mr. McMahon, there would be no WCW. I don't know. There might be
No.
some truth to that.
What he's saying is if Vince McMahon, if the Mr. McMahon character didn't come about, then WCW would still be in business today because Vince McMahon did some dirty deal. Let's not forget he sent the son over to WCW, and next thing you know, WCW is gone. Now you look at where his son then went recently. His son just showed up on AEW. Why is he on AEW? I thought there
That's
was
true.
competition.
That's
Just
true.
like when Shane showed up in WCW, everybody was like, "Oh, Shane's here." Wait a minute, why is Shane here? You see
Well,
what I'm saying?
at this point, AEW is a farm system for WWE. At this point,
Yeah, I could believe
it's,
that.
they're, they're just a farm system. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. So, man, we got about an hour and a half in. I think we at a good spot. Chris, when you go back and watch this, bro, shout out to you and speedy recovery to you, my G. I think we're gonna go ahead because that was the last little banner that I had for us to cover this topic. But definitely, we coming back for a part 2 tomorrow. So make sure y'all come back tomorrow. Jay Wills, there's gonna be another open panel tomorrow. So make sure you be ready to come up on the panel because we're gonna talk about everything that
Most
happened
def,
in this documentary.
most def, man.
Cool. So give us your since Jay Wills, you don't even want up here with me. Give me your final word, and then I'm gonna go ahead and shut this thing down. But
And, dope show, man. Dope show. Every time y'all go live with the wrestling takes, I'm ready to come up on the panel with the controversial takes, man.
as long as long as you don't say Roman Reigns is the best thing popping right now, you're good. It's like you're good.
Hey,
If
listen,
you,
y'all couldn't disprove me on the Brock Lesnar take, so hey, man.
I can still disprove you on the Brock Lesnar take. Don't get me wrong. I love Brock Lesnar. That's my guy. Hold on, let me bring Hassan back up real quick. Hassan,
My bad. Go
yeah,
ahead.
you good. But no, I love Brock Lesnar. But listen, that's my guy. But at the same time, you still can't convince me that Brock Lesnar carried the company on his back. It's just not happening, bro.
Hey, that's
I mean,
fine.
when you look at it at the time, he did dominate. Vince McMahon pushed him hard. He destroyed John Cena, ended the streak. And yes, when AJ Styles and Seth Rollins came, yes, they did their part. But from 2012 to 2016, it was all Brock Lesnar. But then it went to Seth a little bit, then AJ. So that's how much I give it from 2012 to
Man,
2016.
man, every time Seth Rollins touched that world title, the fans turned on him, bro. That's all I'm gonna say.
But before I was cutting out, I said Vince McMahon sent Vince Russo to WCW. The
Vince
plan.
Russo, that son of a bitch. I cannot stand him.
Woo!
Oh, I can't stand Vince
Woo!
Russo, and I'm so mad that you brought his ass up. I
But
was just about to
Cellulite,
close this show, but fuck Vince Russo. But go ahead, my bad.
if he talks to you, he's gonna call you bro, relax, bro, relax, bro. But no, Vince Russo. You know what you should do, You know what you should do, Cellulite, if it's possible, trying to get Jim Cornette and Vince Russo on your podcast and have them help you.
Man,
Oh, that's never gonna happen.
first of all, we know that ain't gonna happen because they don't even they can't even stand being around each other. You know what? This is the biggest thing for those who don't know. between Vince and Jim Cornette. They argue all the time. Well, it was my idea. It was my idea. No, it was my idea. Everybody wants to take claim for the Montreal job. It's neither one of y'all idea. Neither one of y'all predicted that Vince was going to bring his ass down the goddamn rep and say, "Get the fuck out of there and ring the bell." But if you leave it to Vince Russo said, "Yeah, it was my idea. Put him in the sharpshooter, and then tap him, and then that'll be it." Jim Cornette's thing is just like, no, that was my idea. So if we was to ever get those two on here, then they would argue the whole 5 hours, bro.
You wouldn't get a word in.
But Jim Cornette came with facts, though. He said that's a screw job. They did that in the 20s. That the whole Montreal screw job, like it was been done before.
They did that with Fabulous Moolah and the other chick.
Oh,
and that was in Glamour, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of that promotion that was wrestling? It was the women's Glow. There it is. Yeah, Jim Cornette is right. And I seen that video when because he's a wrestling historian. He knows everything. When he went back and I watched that video, he did bring up the fact that it's been done before. But Vince Russo says that he the one that came up with the idea. My thing is just like Vince Russo, like, to hell with you, bro. Do you know what you did with you? What was the Hollywood guy's name that went over to WCW?
No. Oh, I know you're talking about. He was in Ready to Rumble.
Oh, David Arquette.
Who?
David Arquette.
Yeah. Vince Russo, what the hell was you thinking? Especially that night when he said no holds barred or some shit like that. Like, Vince Russo, you're not even convincing, bro. Like,
no, but you know why he did it? He said it in back then interview. So the WCW can get a name on the USA Today, so they can be in the front page for one day.
Mm-hmm.
And how did that work out? It was bad. Everything Vince Russo involved in is bad. It's just that simple.
And that's why it drives Jim Cornette crazy, because he's an actual wrestling fan. He knows his stuff. And this is crazy. Jim Cornette said if Vince passes away before him, he's gonna piss in his grave. That's
Cornette hates Vince. But Alan West, thank you for reminding me. Wendy Richter.
What happened with Wendy?
She was the one who Fabulous Moolah. They did the screw job with Fabulous Moolah on her with the women's title in the WWF before. I think it was like the 80s. Sometime in the 80s, they did that.
Can you believe she held the title for 15, 20 years? That's insane.
I have to go look that up. Wendy Richter. Oh, her.
Yeah, they did that. Fabulous Moolah went along with that. It was crazy.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Fabulous Moolah. I can pull that up. Wendy Richter defeats Fabulous Moolah. Okay. Yeah. So even in that, oh man, listen. If y'all don't know what Joshi Wrestling is, go look up Joshi Wrestling, especially with what they came out on Netflix. Talking about Dump Masakoto. Let's go watch it. He says, Moolah is another can of worms. Hey man, listen, don't be talking about Moolah, man. Hey, listen, Moolah. I don't care what y'all say. Fabulous Moolah was my girl. Mae Young was my girl too. I don't know what y'all better leave Mae Young and Fabulous Moolah alone, right? They was a hoe's hoe, but goddamn it, they knew what the business was. And even in that, with those two ladies, they'd tell you themselves, man, the shit that these hoes would do behind stage just to be in the business, it was almost like running a brothel. That's why with these allegations that Vince is facing, it's just like, Vince.
We knew what Sable was doing in Son. I'm just saying.
Everybody knew it.
The Bella twins, man.
Jay, you brought up Sonny. You know, Shawn Michaels accuses Bret Hart having an affair with Bret Hart, and Bret Hart went crazy. Like, my wife is watching, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why Macho Man Randy Savage hated Hulk Hogan, because he was under the impression that Hulk Hogan was fucking his wife, which I believe he was. I don't care what nobody say. I believe Hulk Hogan fucked Randy Savage's wife. But that's why you don't bring your actual wife to wrestling. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You don't bring your family to the business.
It's crazy you mentioned that because Hulk Hogan acts like him and Macho made peace, and a lot of
They
people
never
say
did.
they never did. But the way Hogan acts, like yeah, they made peace. Oh, did you hear the Macho Man rapping song? That's crazy.
Oh, I saw the whole. He got the whole album, bro. Be a
Yeah,
man, Hogan.
yeah, I remember that. The thing about Macho, and I wonder what was the relationship between Macho Man and Vince. I never really heard too much about it.
It was
Think
bad.
of,
It was bad. Vince didn't want him to win the WWF title, but Macho won the tournament.
I remember
Vince
that.
low key didn't want him to win that because
But
he
not
felt like
only
he was too small of a wrestler
Mhm,
at the time.
mhm,
And then he forced Macho Man to retire, air quotes, retire, and go on
mhm,
commentary. And Macho did not like that.
mm.
But there's another
That's
thing, Jay. I don't know if you heard this one. A lot of people accuse Macho Man sleeping with 17-year-old Stephanie.
I heard about that. I heard
That
about
is
that.
fair.
I heard about that.
Well, when you talk about Stephanie,
That's a whole nother conversation in itself.
when you talk about Stephanie, and I'm not here to shit on the McMahon family, but when you talk about Stephanie, right? Remember, this girl came up in locker rooms all across America. And when I say came up, she came in all locker rooms all across America, too. It's legendary that she came everywhere and she took a lot of coming too. But Stephanie was known as the hoe. I'm just be honest. That's a lot of people like when you listen. Man, I don't want to name no wrestlers who I've known have said these things, and I've seen podcasts with them. But yeah, before
But
Triple H, Stephanie was known as yeah, she was a piece of work for
no,
everybody.
no, no. I don't know if you heard that story. Stephanie said she slept with a woman while Triple H sitting and watched them do it.
Again,
Triple
company
H probably
hoe,
didn't care too.
company hoe. I ain't trying to shit. I ain't trying to shit on Stephanie, but she was kind of known as a company hoe. You think what Sable did was bad? Oh no. You
No,
got to
no, no.
remember. Hmm?
Was Sable, what she did was stupid. She sued Vince in the 90s and came
Hmm?
back and did the same thing on TV, kissing and all that. Like, what
Yeah,
the hell? You
For
just
yeah, I
sued.
real.
know,
Just to marry Brock Lesnar.
bruh. The niggas nigga. What was the African the black woman? She was something Kong. I can't remember her name.
Awesome Kong. Awesome Kong.
Awesome Kong let it all hang out. I gotta go find that interview. Yeah, she
Yes, sir.
told the truth. Who's the hoes in wrestling? She'll tell you straight up. This bitch just like dick for titles.
Listen, man, we have all these conversations about
Mhm.
all these DMP conversations about women and stuff, but the wrestling business is showing you these chicks can be hoes and still get wifed up, man.
When Robbie went on DJ Ham's panel, I think that was last week, and there's a clip that DJ Ham got. Where Robbie says, "Women are hoes, women is hoes, women is hoes, women is hoes." A lot of people don't realize just how true that statement is. In the
No,
wrestling industry, oh yes. If you was wrestling and you was a woman, you was fucking. If you was fucking, you was getting fucked over. You just didn't know it yet.
mm-hmm.
Look at China.
Oh,
China's story is
damn.
China's story is insane, bro.
Don't do China like that. Come on. Rest.
What you mean?
Bro, her story is crazy, bro.
Yeah, I
What you
know.
mean? Don't do China like? I'm just being honest. We all know that when Triple H came out with Stephanie, China was heartbroken because China was trying to be with Triple H. But then the downfall that happened after that, I mean, don't get me wrong, she could compete with the men. That's what everybody knew her as, right? But you couldn't have no women compete with her because she was too like brawny. You see what I'm saying? So she thought that was something that Triple H liked. He liked the brawny, strong, muscular, fit physique, can perform woman. Then when he come out with this thing, and China was like, that's where I get most. Yeah, that's where I get most of these stories out about Stephanie. You listen to some of those old China interviews. That hoe Stephanie, she was fucking everybody. I'm like, God damn, China.
China hated Stephanie, bro.
Yeah.
She hated her, bro.
Like China, you don't remember the fact that you was in Playboy? We saw that hamburger that you got. Anyway, so let me
and she was with X-Pac too, man. We ain't gonna talk about that.
We're gonna leave that. We're gonna leave that under wraps. We're gonna leave that under wraps. We're gonna put that to bed. We're not gonna talk about it. Just gonna let it go. But yeah, man. It's great, man. I enjoyed this episode. We're gonna have to come. Make sure y'all come back for part 2. Jay Wills always gave his final words. Hassan, go ahead and give your final words, Jay.
No, this is great wrestling stuff, history. Let's keep it up, and hopefully next time we get deeper into these stories. Yeah. So appreciate you for bringing me up to the.
Always, and because we're in the Diddy area, let's stay away from getting deeper. Let's stay surface level.
And baby oil.
Listen, if I see anybody on any podcast with a bottle of Johnson & Johnson sitting next to him, I swear to God, I'm roasting them, bro. I'm roasting. It is over for you, baby.
But before you end it, in the private chat, I put a video of Jim Cornette collection and history. Like he shows you the past, everything, newspapers, everything. I think it's like an hour video, but
yeah, I'm gonna go check it out. I'm gonna go check it out. I appreciate y'all coming up. I'll see y'all brothers later. Y'all take
Salute.
it easy.
Most deaf.
Later.
Salute. Take it easy. All right, y'all. This has been another episode of Wrestling Wednesdays. Chris is recovering from his illness, so we praying for him a speedy recovery. And also, when he get his internet situated out, then we'll definitely be back on primarily to Wrestling Wednesdays. Today, it was just a thing we had to do, but it's okay though. We still gonna make this thing rock, but we wasn't gonna let y'all go 2 weeks without no wrestling talk. So make sure y'all catch us up on the next time when we cover part 2 of the Vince McMahon documentary, because we touched a little bit tonight, but it's gonna get deeper. Oh, damn, I just said don't get deeper, and it's the Diddy era. Well, it's more in depth that we can go when it comes to the Vince McMahon documentary. So make sure y'all catch us tomorrow, same time, same place. I will holler at y'all. See y'all later. Do not be a stranger. Make sure y'all come back and y'all check us out. Oh shit. Wait a minute. She's in the building. Wait a minute. Hold on, y'all. She in the building. Where is my? There it is.
Across the miles, through endless nights, we found each other, hearts ignited bright. Whispers on.
Hey, baby.
Hey.
What's going on? Look at your avatar. Look at you. You embodied the whole wrestling spirit. Look at you.
If I'm going to support, might as well support.
What's going on with you, baby?
Nothing. Just came up here to mind your business and show off my new dress. Mm-hmm.
No, I see. I like it. You like a wrestler in that. You like you ready to beat the shit out of somebody. You like you like suplex Adora the Explorer. My bad. Yeah, baby. What you got before I close this thing down?
Oh no, I'm glad it's giving wrestler, because that's how I created that. Black female wrestler.
Oh yeah, it's definitely giving off all the wrestling vibes. Well, I'm about to shut this down, baby. So give me a couple minutes, all right?
I mean, I guess you're so handsome though. You look so cuddly.
Thank you. That's because I'm relaxing. So it's 1 month. We almost at the 1 month mark until I go knock the hell out of this tall Mr. Fantastic motherfucker. So yeah, I might as well relax now while I can, because we still in hell mode.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna let you end the show. I'm gonna talk my shit to you when you get out of here now.
All right, love you, baby.
Like that.
All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. I ain't even got no more spiel to give y'all, so I'm gonna give y'all a quick little outro. And what song am I gonna use? Let me see. What song do I want to use? I think I want to use this one. What's a good song to use? Yeah, I can use this one. All right, holla at y'all.